Welcome to all participants of this online refresher course in biological sciences held at UGC HRDC's Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. I am Dr. PRAKASH B from Department of Botany, Srimati S.K. Gandhi Arts, Amolak Science and P.H. Gandhi Commerce College, Kada. And for this seminar presentation, my topic is algal diversity at Nathsagar water reservoir. About 50 kilometers away from Aurangabad, Jayakwadi Project is constructed on Godavari river at Paithan. It is chiefly for drinking water and irrigation purpose. The water reservoir of the dam is known as Nathsagar, which is about 55 kilometers in length and 27 kilometers in width. The reason for such a massive spread is relatively flat terrain, which has resulted in a shallow water body. Except the main stream of the river, the water is shallow in the dam and having average depth of only 1 to 2 meters, which gives it a typical wetland character. The sunlight reaches up to the bottom of the dam in most of the area, and therefore the biomass productivity of the water reservoir is very high. The water body has good number of fishes, other aquatic plants, and other aquatic animals. Over the year, the reservoir has become a refuge for many local and migratory birds, which lead it being declared as bird sanctuary by the government of Maharshtra. This Nathsagar water reservoir and 125 hectares of Sant Jnaneshwar Udyan become a part of Jayakwadi Bird Sanctuary on 10th October 1986. Every year, over 200 species of resident and migratory birds from as far as Nepal, Tibet, China, and Russia comes at Jayakwadi in the winter months. The birds have different food habits. The birds which come from these discussed areas have different food habits. The shallow varying degree of adaptation towards the food they consume. Some birds are herbivorous while others are carnivorous. However, some species are omnivorous and do not show any specialization for their particular type of food. The reservoir itself has highly diverse aquatic vegetation and 65 varieties of freshwater fishes. For present study, 4 algal sample collection sites were considered. These are Sonewadi, which is near to the dam wall. Another is second, Ramdoh. Third is Daipur, and fourth is Pravarasangam, which is at the end of water reservoir. So far concerned of collection of algal samples, the algal samples from each site were collected once in a month. The collection were made for 3 consecutive years in the month of November to March. And for present study, diversity of algae is concerned from 3 classes. These are chlorophyceae, cyanophyceae, and bacillophyceae. In chlorophyceae, hydrodictyl alga is there, which is microscopic, free-floating. 100 to many thousand cells are there, which are cylindrical, sinusotic, and cylindric. With large central vacuole, chloroplast is parietal in this alga, and with a single pyramid, this alga reproduces by the zoospores. Another interesting alga, beautiful alga, is periastum, which is also free-floating, disc-shaped with 4 to 64 cells, or sometimes more than that. Marginal cells sometimes with or without processes, and usually differently shaped than interior cells. The cell wall of periastum is smooth or with some ornamentations, sometimes multinucleated. Chloroplast in this periastum is parietal and disc-shaped. Another alga is celastrum. It is usually hollow sphere, rarely polygonal to pyramidal, and 4 to 32 or more cells. The cells of celastrum are spherical, ovoid, or pyramidal, closely adjoined and compressed or interconnected by narrow processes to form small or large intercellular spaces. The cell wall of celastrum was composed of an inner cellulose layer and outer pectin layer, which is thickened to form a polar outgrowth or lateral processes that connects the cells. Another filamentous alga from chlorophyll is Udogonium, which is found are attached or sometimes free floating. It is unbranched. Vegetative cells of Udogonium are uninucleate, cylindric, or sometimes capitated, nodulose, or undulate. Anterior end with usually apparent caps or ring-like scars resulting from cell division. Chloroplast is parietal in this Udogonium, sometimes reticulate with the several pyramids. Another alga is Pyrogata. It is unbranched with short or long cylindrical cells. Vegetative cells are longer than broad, coagulate, replicate, or unduplicate. Septa is unduliceptate. Chloroplast is 1 to 16 and parietal ribbon-like. Spirals are rarely near straight with numerous prominent paranoids. Nucleus is centrally situated in a protoplasmic strand. Another alga found in chlorophyll is Clostridium. The Clostridium is elongate, generally curved, sometimes more or less straight, unconstructed with or without median inflation. Cell was smooth or striated. Sometimes it is striated and often with one or more transverse lines either at middle or at different points along the cells. Chloroplast is one in each semicell. Pyramids are few or many, sometimes arranged in an axial row or irregularly scattered. Another beautiful alga from chlorophyll is Microsterias. Microsterias, two species are there. These are flat, very rarely forming filamentous organization, often large and slightly longer than broad. These are bilaterally symmetrical, deeply constricted, and sinus of these cells are narrowly linear and opening outwards. Semicells and sub-semicells are sub-semicircular to hexagonal, divided into one polar and 3 to 4 lateral lobes. By incision of variable depth, polar lobes widely cunate, emarginate, or widely notched. Lateral lobes are usually with or without series of spines. Then Uastrum. The cells of Uastrum are variable in size, longer than broad, compressed deeply and constricted. Sinus is generally linear with dilated extremity. Rarely open semicells are there, usually truncate, pyramids apex with shallow and broad or deep and narrow apical notch. Lateral margins are entire, sinuate and variously low. Cells or cell wall with or without hemispherical and variously disposed protuberances or tumor, smooth, punctate or granulate. Another alga is Cosmerium. These cosmeriums are variable in their size, never forming permanent colonies and usually little longer than broad. In a few species, slightly broader than long cosmerium may be observed. Symmetrical in three planes at right angles. Symmetry is like three planes in right angles. Constricted in median isthmus region to form sinus of variable width. Semicells are elliptic, ovate, subcircular, semicircular, sometimes reniform, subquadrate, subrectangular, or truncate. Pyramidate, apex is rounded, somewhat angular, truncate, or subtruncate, and without an apical incision. Center sometimes protuberant, margin is entire, undulate, or scrunate. Cell wall of Cosmerium is sometimes smooth, punctate, scorbicular, or granulate, but never with spines. Other general species observed from chlorophyll were Cosmerium angulosum, Cosmerium marcaceatum, Cosmerium obtusatum, Cosmerium proteanum, Cosmerium pseudobromine, Cosmerium cunarium, Cosmerium sexnotatum, Cosmerium undulatum, species of desmids. These are Desmid schwarzi, Onychorrhea species, Spiralisma species, and Triplospira species are also found in this chlorophyll group at Nathsagar. Some species of Erythrospora, that is Erythrospora curvatus, then Staurostem saxonivillari, Staurostem wildmani, staurostrum, 6 costatum, and few species of xanthidium are reported from chlorophyceae. In bacillophyceae, there are so many species like Frustulia jogensis, Amphora costata, Amphora maharashtriensis, Amphora venata, Sembella osmanabadensis, Sembella witherbensis. These like species are there from bacillophyceae, and chlorophyceae. There are species like Oscillatoria. The trichome of Oscillatoria is single or forming a flat or spongy free swimming thallus. In Oscillatoria, sheath is absent, rarely with more or less very delicate sheath, motile and mostly by a creeping movement, causing rotation on the longitudinal axis. End of oscillatory trichome. At the end of oscillatory trichome, distinctly marked pointed bent-like cells are there. As far concerned, Glyocapsa, thallus of Glyocapsa is crustaceous, leathery, lubricious or mucilaginous, expanded, brownish or blackish, green, and sometimes spherical or ovoidally arranged. Irregularly forming colonies, which may be single or many together forming expanded masses. Each cell of Glyocapsa is with distinct or indistinct laminated or unlaminated sheaths, and cell contains colored or colorless homogeneous chloroplast. Another species from Stylophyceae is Limbia. The Limbia are generally occurs in fresh water. Free-floating attached or epiphytic thallus of Limbia species is there. Thallus is unbranched, straight, cylindric, curved, and twisted. Sheaths are firm of variable thicknesses, sometimes lamellose, colorless, protruding far beyond the apex of trichomes. Trichomes are cylindric, may or may not be constricted at the cross walls. Cells granulate, barrel-shaped, cylindrical or shorter or broader than the breed. End cell is obtuse with or without thickened outer membrane. Cell contains homogeneous granules and gas vacuoles may or may not be present or variously present. The other species observed from chlorophyll cyanophyceae are Scatolima species, Gliotrichia, Maxinosarsina, and Glyocapsa merismopedia. While concluding this work, in all 170 species of chlorophyceae belonging to 43 genera were recorded from the study area. Maximum number of species observed were of Cosmerium. These are followed by species of Pyrogarum. 46 species of bachelor species belonging to 18 genera were recorded from the study area. Maximum number of species were of Simbella, followed by Eunocia and Amphora. 48 species of Cyanophyceae belonging to 19 genera were observed. The species of Oscillatoria recorded were maximum in number, followed by Crucoccus, Microcystis, and Scatolima. Thank you for your attention, and thank you to HRDC of this Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University for selecting me to this course of online course in biological sciences. And thank you all. Thank you.